So I'm going to read you. The beginning. Okay, so this is kind of a preface. Hooked is a novel set in 2015 as newspapers were starting to transition from print to online editions, but long before newsrooms were decimated by the resulting industry implosion and many were closed entirely due to COVID shutdowns. This was before fake news evolved into misinformation and disinformation campaigns of today, when communities relied on the media to print the truth and to keep politicians honest, and on the police to keep us safe, when journalists were held to higher ethical standards, and when people still believed in science and technology. And I wrote that several years ago, and it's way even more, as we know, pertinent today. Okay, this is the prologue, and it starts as Halloween Friday. Victoria Fontaine struggled to break through the brain fog, her body aching from a no-sleep hangover. Her head pounded and her limbs felt like lead weights. Even her eyelids were too heavy to lift. But the struggle was worth it. She felt satiated, content even. She rolled over and reached out blindly, expecting to grab a handful of warm flesh next to her. Instead, her fingertips found only the folds of wrinkled sheets, where Alex Betrell had kept her up most of the night with his hot, whispery breath, rolling her over and around until she screamed as he brought her to climax. Not that she was complaining. As she squeezed her eyes open, the orange numbers on the clock read 8:15. She heard Alex's motorcycle engine gun up the driveway to the locked gate, idling long enough for it to open. She imagined him smiling at the memory of rubbing her belly one last time before he left. She reached for the phone, which pinged on the bedside table with a sweet text from him. There had been an emotional connection between them ever since they'd met in rehab a lifetime ago, but Alex had always denied it. She'd waited so long to hear those words. It felt safe to be happy for once. Best ever, babe. It only took 18 years. I'll let you get some sleep. Love you. Feels good to say that. See you tonight? Question mark, question mark, question mark. But then it was, that bile rising up again like a bullet train, same time every morning for the past week. Throwing off the covers, she ran into the bathroom where in one fluid motion she lifted the toilet seat, kneeled on the mat, pulled her hair back and threw up into the bowl. Flushing it down, she pushed herself to her feet and lowered her face over the sink to rinse with mouthwash. God, she said, how long is this gonna last? Crawling back into bed, she closed her eyes again, reliving the feeling of Alex's soft, wet lips on hers, his scratchy chin rubbing against the crook of her neck, and his hard, muscular ass in her hands, tight from all the mountain bike riding he'd been doing in Ramona the past 6 months. He's right. That was our best night ever. Everything is different now. Victoria wanted to see him again, but she couldn't commit to another night of no sleep, at least not right now. Hopefully her stomach would settle later in the day. Tummy not good, but it was worth losing sleep to see you. Love you too, she texted back. She didn't feel well enough to drag herself out of bed and into the office, not with the shitstorm going on right now. It was Friday and Halloween, so she might as well take a sick day, because that's what she was, sick. All she wanted to do was lie there and sleep, watch some TV, drink ginger ale. It had been a rough week, wondering if it was stress or an ulcer that constantly made her feel like retching. She finally faced reality and bought a pregnancy test. As the little purple cross emerged, it was like an apparition showing itself to her. Simple math told her it could be Alex's, but she couldn't be sure because she'd been seeing his younger brother Michael for the past 5 months. Still, after the last abortion debacle, she called Alex right away this time. He was at her house within an hour, happier than she'd ever seen him. Clean and sober, too. Her ultimatum had worked. It's all coming together. I know I need to tell Michael we're over, but he'll be devastated. So I'm not going to tell him about the baby, or Alex, yet. She'd been trying to deal with this morning sickness without anyone knowing at work, especially Michael. But that was tricky, because she felt nauseated off and on throughout the afternoon, when round 2 often hit without much warning. Luckily, she had a private bathroom in her office. She didn't want to seem weak with the human vultures watching her every move. Not now, with so much at stake. She didn't take extortion sitting down, so she'd issued another ultimatum, this one very different from the one she'd given Alex a year earlier. If the vultures didn't comply with their demands, she would follow through on her threat to notify the full board. If any of this becomes public, we're all going down, and Daddy's life's work at Vitaleron will be ruined. 4 hours later, Victoria Fontaine was dead.